Thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Podcast, a proud member of the Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Joe Cox, a.k.a. Jobin, sticks around for some more folk and bison talk. Kyle Kemper stays up past his bedtimes, and his jokes get a little bit better, I think. If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at wwsu1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
All right, that's a little bit of dead air for you there, because I always like to start the second hour with nothing.
On the right foot.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. Get it going right on the same wrong foot we ended the last hour with. So this is the Life Radio Show, part 2 of. It's not a sequel. We agreed that this
part
is not
2
a
Electric
sequel.
Boogaloo. I mean,
Yes. With my guests, Joe Ben,
yes,
Joseph Cox, Joe Cox.
yeah, multi-personality
Yeah,
disorder.
yeah.
I'm all over the place
Yeah.
today.
And Kyle Kemper is
you.
he's looking a little groggy, but he's still with us.
No, I'm fine. Like I said, it's way past my
I'm just-
bedtime. Yeah. I got to wake up at noon tomorrow, so if we could
Oh, man,
wrap
that's
this up.
rough.
Yeah.
His comedy
that is
shows,
rough.
man, they're usually about 6 p.m. No
Oh, yeah.
alcohol,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, yeah, it gets all the older couples out for the early bird comedy
Right.
special.
Yeah, right.
Because you're less frightening to them than a real comic.
Most of my shows are at a Golden Corral, and anything that has an early bird
Yeah.
special.
He drinks Shirley Temples on stage.
Yeah, I always pictured you as more of a Bob Evans style comedian.
No. One of my first jokes was actually a Bob Evans joke.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I was
So
not
you were
wrong
correct.
then, yes.
It did not do well, if you were wondering.
I want to
Well,
know
then,
that joke.
then you
Can we
do
hear it?
have to share.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It was like,
I'm kidding. I didn't share my Buffalo
Okay.
joke. You don't have to
Oh,
share your Bob
I'm dying to
Evans
know
joke.
this.
all right, I'll go
Yeah.
for
I'm
it if
dying.
you want.
Come
It was as you can probably tell by looking at me, I'm a guy who likes to party. If by party you mean
we can tell.
and then it was like if by party you mean a party of one of Bob Evans, and then it would just get like a chuckle, and then that was it. That was my first joke, one of my first jokes that I ever wrote. And for some reason, something in my head was like, "Yeah, I've got a knack for this." And I clearly didn't at all. I don't know. I should have stopped right there, and I should be have a good career path ahead of me.
Yeah.
But no.
Hosting it, Bob Evans.
How I know I'm not a comedian is that I thought that was kind of funny.
Thank you.
Well, no,
You're invited to all
it's-
of my shows.
It gets some,
Get the Bob
it needs
Evans
some
guy.
tags.
Yeah.
It needs some tags. That's
It's still funnier than
and
Amy
a
Schumer.
punchline and a joke. If it had
Yeah.
a joke, a punchline, and some tags,
That's what I was
that
missing.
would be gold.
I do mostly sonnets in my set.
Yeah, sonnets.
Yeah.
I like villanelles just because I repeat myself a lot. So that's an English major joke.
Dude, my favorite joke of Kyle's is his grocery list song. I love his grocery list song.
I was joking. I did that one time.
I love
and
that joke.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard that one.
Was
That one's
You don't have to keep doing material.
that's
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Because
that's
we're
actually,
we were talking before the show about one of the best open mics that you missed
yeah. Which one
at
was
the chapter bar.
Yes, and
Yes, the chapter bar was it was beautiful. It was a beautiful place. Used to be a great open mic run by the wonderful Dale Blumquist, great guy. He ran that mic for years, and there towards the end of it, it was kind of it was a good test. If you wanted to see if you really wanted to do comedy, that's where you went, because you could really feel what it was like to die on stage. I mean, it was
yeah.
because the first time I ever did, I was telling you, nothing. I came off of 2 pretty good shows. This was my 3rd time on stage. I went to Chapter Bar. I recorded my set. Have never watched or listened to it.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was just bad. And I did the show 3 or 4 more times because I wasn't. It's like, no, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win, Fairborn. I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And my 4th show there finally started to get some laughs from him.
Yeah. Well, that's
And it took It took basically a couple minutes of making fun of the guy that was up before me. Because I had to, because when you're on stage, sometimes you have to bring something up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the host of the show is a real nice guy. I'm not going to mention his name. He's been on the show before. Real nice guy. I don't think he does comedy much anymore. But I guess he'd been doing comedy about a year or so when he did the chapter, and they were having him host the show. Well, before the show, he's out with me and a couple of the comics out there that are hanging out front of the bar before the show, and he says, "Well, what's the crowd usually like in here?" And I look at him. I said, "Well, when's the last time you bombed?" He said, "Well, since I've been doing comedy, I've really only had one bad show." And at the same time, it was me and a couple other comics looked at him and just in unison went, "This'll be two." Wow. And then there's this old man that was one of the bar patrons was out front smoking a cigarette, and he looked at him and said, "If you're as lousy as the rest of them."
Good.
I was like, "Yep, that's your crowd."
Still supporting.
Now, as a host, he was supposed to do about 7 or 8 minutes, and then I was the first comic up after him. I was the first comic of the night after the host, and which is kind of a tough spot sometimes. Well, he didn't do 7 or 8 minutes. He was on there about 2 minutes, and just voice cracking, shaking. I mean, he was because he was getting nothing. And after about 2 minutes, he said, "I'm just going to bring your next comic up," and called me up. So I had to point out what just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because sometimes that's always been kind of an issue with me, is staying in the moment on stage, especially when you're doing an open mic. You got a set amount of time. You have to try to stay in the moment. And sometimes I don't do that. I rush through and try to get my set out because I'm testing jokes. Well, I actually did have a great in the moment the last time I went up at Wiley's. Because of the way I said a certain thing, I had to point out how I said it and make fun of myself for saying it that way. And that actually got a better response that night than any of the jokes I told. Yeah. So sometimes it's a great thing. But yeah, the chapter bar was so much fun to do.
Yeah, that seems like a good environment. And you said you had a recording of that and you could never watch it. I mean, like...
Well, I have never watched it.
Yeah, I mean...
I think I still have it somewhere. It's just... I don't want to watch it.
Well, I'm the same way.
I probably should, but...
No, I mean, I still have, like, all my first recordings.
Because there are jokes
phone.
in there that probably would work someplace else. Mm-hmm. And I've never told that same set.
Oh, yeah, because you get so terrified. You're like, well, none of that works because nobody laughed, and you just ditch it forever. I mean, that's what I used to do.
Yeah, I've had a couple of sets like that were bad enough. I was like, nope, I'm not using any of these again.
Like, believe it or not, that Bob Evans joke does not join me in my in my new set that I do.
That is crazy.
I know.
That should be your closer.
Real fan favorite. Yeah.
That should be your closer. Joe and all the comedians in the back of the room will laugh.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, because that's what you want. Is you want the comedians in the back just cackling wildly and nobody in the audience laughing. That's
where
it's always a good feeling.
Right. Oh gosh. That gives me flashbacks to the majority of my early shows. Well, that was the thing is my early shows. I was 15 years old, so like I wasn't that funny, but I was getting like really big laughs because people were like, "Oh, this kid's 15," so they were so surprised that like this was coming out of my mouth. And now I'm getting to the age where like I really have to step up my game because like the cuteness have worn off, and they're like, "All right, you've got to be actually funny now." I'm like, "Oh no." Let's go back to remember when I was a goofy kid, and they're like, no.
Well, you're starting young though, which is good. I mean, you'll build up there. You stick with it because I know Ryan Haroff. I don't know if you've met Ryan Haroff. He's a local. He started. I think he started when he was about 14 or 15. And he's a riot. I think he's got one album out now, one comedy album out.
I think so.
And he's really good.
Yeah.
And he does shows at Wiley's he's actually in college now, so he.
I mean,
he still does comedy every now and then, just not as much.
That worries me because what are the odds that both of us would be good? You know, that's just basic math right there. There's no way.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, one of you's got to go.
Yeah. I'll take the bullet. I'll see myself out. This has been fun.
See, because I'm in a better situation because there are a lot of comics that start in their 40s, in their late 30s and early 40s. So yeah, I'm part of that demographic. So I have no idea what chances I might have.
I don't know, Kyle. Maybe you could beat him out though. Have you tried beating your chest at him?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
No,
Who's that, Ryan?
Yeah.
Well, he might charge.
He might.
Because he's a notorious road comic. Yeah, we gotta.
That's a good throwback.
See that? Well, that's going to make this a sequel, though. That's the only problem.
I warned you. It was going to
just
happen.
made this a sequel.
This is Jurassic Park 2.
Next thing you know, we're going to try human cloning in here.
Oh, man. Every time.
Yeah. And it's human clone. Really?
Yeah.
In a dinosaur movie?
Yes. They're like, how could we make this movie less good?
Yeah.
Human cloning. Come on.
Yeah. Chris Pratt. No. Actually, I don't mind him.
I like Chris Pratt.
He's
I like
been
Chris
okay
Pratt.
in some things.
He's very funny. I like him.
What other actors were in those? I don't even remember.
Ron Howard's daughter.
Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah.
Oh,
Bryce Dallas Howard.
We rehearsed that on the car
Yeah,
right
we
here,
did.
by the way. I want to
We're
point that.
when we bring up Jurassic World,
Yeah, when it gets brought up.
Bryce Dallas
it
Howard.
will.
Yeah.
it will happen. Because I bring it up everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
think
they don't make more.
You actually were the one to bring it up.
I was,
So
yeah.
you're like a plant.
I am.
Yeah, I knew it.
I am.
Knew
He works
there
for a
was
competing
something funny
studio.
going on.
He works for Warner Brothers.
Trying to get Universal and Amblin shut down. If they're listening, I'm kidding. Fund my movies.
They turned down one of his films, and he's like, you know what? I'm taking down Jurassic World.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't have to work that hard for that.
It's okay. It's making a crap
itself
ton
down.
at the box office.
I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, they'll make a third one. It's going to happen.
Well, even the original Jurassic Park was not very good.
Oh, no. It was good. It was very good.
It was not very.
It was
good.
a very well told Steven Spielberg movie.
Okay.
Okay, but
Joe's going to throw his water again. Here we go.
Yeah,
I whispered that to Kyle earlier. I was going to throw my water if anybody disses the original Jurassic Park.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I'm saying it wasn't that good.
It's not as good as we all act like it is because we all remember it being awesome when we were kids. But it is definitely way better than all the sequels.
Well, yeah, that I will say.
An Oscar
is
movie, it is not.
Which
a
one?
summer blockbuster, it is great for a summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Which one had Vince Vaughn in it? Was that the second?
That was the second one.
Ah,
that was the travesty that started all of this.
Wow.
Vince
See,
Vaughn was in it.
I didn't even remember him being in one.
Yeah, he plays a video journalist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see the Psycho remake where he played Norman Bates?
I saw clips of it on YouTube, and it was enough to make me not watch the Psycho remake where he
Because
plays Norman Bates.
he's been the same obnoxious character in every movie he's ever been in. And
Yeah.
I can't see him being anything different.
He's very Vince Vaughn-like.
I
Vince Vaughnish.
Yeah, he's very Vince Vaughn.
am a fan of Vince Vaughn, and I know that is.
Very Vince Vaughnly.
I liked
That's
Dodgeball. That was about the only one I liked.
He
But
was in True Detective. I don't know if you guys.
I didn't watch
haven't
True
seen it,
Detective, so
All right. Well, I'll see myself out.
I've heard it was good.
Okay.
I've heard
See,
it was good.
I've upset you both. First I dissed Jurassic Park, the original, and now we're
We weren't gonna
we're
be invited back
bad-mouthing
anyways.
Vince Vaughn.
Ever since Watergate, we definitely weren't going to get invited back. It's okay though. We just knew that you couldn't kick us off this show because
Right,
you had
right.
anher hour to fill.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we need
So
to be
you guys-
here.
Yeah. After this, we're gonna throw up a peace sign,
Yeah.
just get in a helicopter and get out of here.
You got us a helicopter?
Awesome.
I like
Man.
to get the laugh when everyone's drinking water at the same time.
Trying to get that spit take?
I'm trying to get that underwater sound.
I have only done that almost just one time in here. There was only one time I was real close to a spit take, and that was that was Charlie Hester when Charlie was in here. She almost made me spit my water out. That was a fun show.
All right, Kyle, new challenge.
No.
New challenge. New
No
challenge.
throwing water bottles.
Yeah, make me spit it out. That's your goal. Wasn't there was like a British show that did a challenge like that where you had to they basically took two comedic actors or comedians and set them next to each other, and they had to hold their water in their mouth as long as they could.
Oh, there's been stuff like there's also the insult challenge. That's another one where they have actors or comedians insult each other to their face and they're not allowed to laugh.
Yeah.
You know, I like that a lot too. I would lose. I laugh at everything.
Will Ferrell, I saw him do one, and he was unshakable.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he's kind of impressed me in that.
Yeah.
Some of his early stuff was garbage.
Will Ferrell will always hold a special place in my heart because of the film Elf. It is a family tradition to get together and watch Elf. I love Elf. You don't like Elf? Come on.
No.
You don't like Elf either?
I like Elf.
Okay, I was
Don't
about to
bring
say,
me
I was
into
like,
this.
Yeah.
You went, ugh.
No, I was. There was tension.
He
The
went,
Hatfields and McCoys in
ugh.
here. I don't like. We're just talking movies, gentlemen.
He went, because I went, when you said Elf. So,
Elf's
yeah,
a
we
good
were all
movie.
making weird noises.
Elf
But
is a classic.
not a fan. Not a
No,
fan. Now,
that's okay.
well, partly because it's a Christmas thing, and partly because there's only one Christmas movie that any family should watch every year, and
Die
that's
Hard.
Christmas Vacation.
I like Christmas Vacation.
Or A Christmas Story.
A Christmas Story is also a tradition.
Those,
that one
yeah,
and
those,
Elf
those two
Or
are
Jurassic
in there.
World.
I,
Or
Oh,
Jurassic,
very good.
or the original Jurassic Park.
I do love
see,
Home
That's
Alone.
a good Christmas music.
I'm
Good
partial to
Christmas
Home Alone.
movie. Yeah.
Are we talking about Christmas in August right now?
I have no idea what we're talking about. This is the Life Radio Show.
Yeah.
Does
This is
anybody really
gone out
know
of
what
hand.
we're talking about?
This is like a notorious road bison going wild.
Yep, Bison Gone Wild. That may be. You may have just named this episode. We'll
Oh,
see if
man.
something better comes along. Which I think you named the last one.
Yeah, I
So,
did.
yeah,
that
man.
means 2 in a row. Mom, don't say
And
I never
they're-
did anything.
They're both bison related. So yeah.
That's true. It's all I've got is bison jokes.
Joe Cox, he's that Bison
I've
comic.
got that bison niche now.
Yeah, that bison
road
guy.
bison
See,
comic.
we were both going for it, and you came in and swooped it, took it right out from under.
That's right. I guess you could
I'm
say
gonna
I
have to-
charged in and took it away.
No, we
Well,
cannot
we
say
were
that.
beating our bison chest at you. That's what the problem was.
What's that? Right State just cut us off? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Why, for beating our bison chest?
I don't know. Just I think we hit our quota for too many Bison jokes. I think they have a limit on it. I believe it's 5 per episode.
That's probably they have a lot of weird quotas around.
My mom was listening. She is proud of my bison jokes, apparently.
Actually, they're on semesters now. They're not on quotas.
Oh, okay, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, somebody had to make a quota joke.
All right.
Of course.
Yeah, and it
Of
had to be
course.
me because I am an idiot. Yeah. I'm going to try to pick a song to play because we got the half-hour break coming up. What kind of music do we want? Do you want something folksy like you're playing? Do you want something heavy? We got some Potter's Field in there. We got some silliness with Mr. Wiggly's exploration launch.
What is that? That sounds
See, I slipped
awesome.
a Mr. Wiggly in when you weren't paying attention in the last break. Not the last break, but the last show.
Yeah, I may have missed that.
I played a little Space Gas is Way Too High.
Well, that was during Watergate. I mean,
that's true. That was. Well, that's why I had to play a second song. 'cause
I was
played
running around
Choke
in
Hazard
circles,
and-
man.
Which I thought it was kind of funny to play Choke Hazard while there was water thrown around everywhere. Should have been Drowning Hazard, or Drowning Pool. There you go.
I would have played It's Raining Men, but that's just my
Yeah.
choice. I mean,
I'm not going to go there. We got. I know what I'll play. We will play some. We'll play some Mr. Wiggly's Exploration Launch. If you're not familiar, this is a band with Mike Canistero. Have you met Mike Canistero?
I have, yes.
Yes, Mike used to run the Wiley Sunday Comics before Karen took over, and he has not done a lot of comedy lately, and I miss that. He does have Dose Dollar Store Dining Dudes is his new YouTube show he has, where him and a friend basically buy food and drinks from a dollar store and challenge each other to eat them and review them.
oh, that's awesome. I haven't
Yeah.
watched that yet. Mike's a funny guy. I'll have to check that out.
That
Yeah.
sounds very good.
But this is Mike Canistero and his brothers are the genius behind Mr. Wiggly's Exploration Launch, which is Dayton's #1 space funk band
Oh, man.
Good. Is there a lot
because
of
they're the only
competition
space
in
funk.
that
It's a pretty big
Yes.
market for that.
Yeah.
so-
It's kind of like
Yeah.
getting the Buffalo comedy niche.
Yeah.
If
it
you're into
happens.
space funk, you're awesome. There's not a lot of unless you're thinking Bootsy.
Talking about
Bootsy
eating
Collins,
weird
maybe,
things, man. You were talking
What's
about
that?
eating weird things. I tried to get, when I first met Kyle, I was like, dude, we could make videos of you eating kangaroo meat. And he got really upset at me.
I did?
Yeah, because you were like, dude, Kangaroo's my favorite animal.
Oh yeah,
I
kangaroos are my favorite animal.
refuse.
I can't eat a kangaroo. I've never heard of anyone eating kangaroo meat.
Yeah,
And
you can buy it at Jungle Gyms.
oh my gosh.
My wife ate a
know that,
kangaroo
'cause
burger.
I did
at a-
not know
at a
that because
cookout.
I'd like to try kangaroo.
She says it's very, very, very lean.
Okay. Getting all hopped up on kangaroo meat.
Yep, hopped up.
No,
There
we're
you
having a
go,
good time.
There you go.
That could be the episode name. Kangaroo meat. No,
Yep, you drop your burger, it bounces. You have to eat it in one of those little pita pouches, though.
There you go.
And we're done. That's it. It's a good thing.
Save
it's
us with
time
the
for a
song.
break right now. Here's a little Mr. Wiggly's exploration launch with their classic Neil deGrasse Tyson chicken.
You know, the only is I am is a scientist.
Got an 8-stage rocket with a pair of chicken wings. Mr. Fairmont Tester.
Go, John!
That's the sweet stuff, man. Fairmont got an 8-stage rocket with a pair of chicken wings. Mr. Fairmont Tester.
If there's one thing that's true about wrestling fans, it's how much they like to talk about wrestling. Join Aaron Lopez and Ben Norsworthy for the Top Rope Wrestling Podcast.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Tune in every episode and be ringside as these two break down all of the big matches in the world of professional wrestling. Brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
Hey man, this is Donnie Baker at Wiley's Comedy Club, and you're listening to WWSU 106.9. I swear to God.
All right, we're back on the Life Radio Show, and I did not even I hit the buttons and I did not turn your mic on, Kyle.
Oh, that's fine. I think
You're on now.
Okay,
I corrected my grievous error.
the listeners wish you wouldn't have corrected it, but now I'm here.
That's probably true. Well, it's the you're not making the Bison jokes anymore.
No, I've retired.
Yeah. Well, there's a new Bison King.
That's
Oh my
right.
God.
There's a new notorious road Bison King.
The Buffalo Wild King.
Buffalo Wild King. There you go. Phew, I think we need to hit some news stories if we're up for
Absolutely.
some more news challenges. All right, December marks the 100th anniversary of the day Ripley's Believe It or Not made its debut. Creator Robert Ripley started a newspaper cartoon which he helped build into a media juggernaut that includes books, TV shows, and auditoriums around the world. But the oddity empire seemingly has no plans to slip quietly into that weird night, based on the photos from its latest book, A Century of Strange. As tradition dictates, the new book features freaky photos and bizarre facts about strange people, animals, and other oddities in the world. For instance, there's a woman in Portland, Oregon, who got her snake caught in her earlobe. And the hospital in Portugal that keeps the pickled head of a serial killer on display. The Century of Strange hits stores August 24th. What part didn't you understand?
How is that
woman
legal?
getting a snake caught in her earlobe or keeping a pickled serial killer's head on display?
How is that legal? I mean, that's got to be illegal, right?
I don't know. I like pickled eggs.
I mean,
that might be delicious.
Yeah, like I don't know. Are you allowed to keep like human remains like that?
If they're a serial killer, I think it's fair game.
Is it?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
Well,
That
yeah,
makes sense.
turnabout's fair play.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the
Which
punishment
serial
fits the
killer is it?
crime, Yeah. It didn't say. Well, you have to buy A Century of Strange in order to know. And it goes on sale August 24th. Why are we pitching a book that we don't care about?
I know. I can't wait for
That's
the
just
episode of
weird.
Mindhunter about that.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. But
Yeah,
okay.
it's a Netflix show about serial killers.
Okay. Well, yeah, I
interviewing
did,
serial killers.
I
yeah.
haven't seen it, but I saw it.
Yeah,
I
David
haven't watched
Fincher.
it, but I saw it on there.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That's
But
not
no,
the
we-
best
we-
ad for
we-
the show, but it'll work.
Well,
You saw the
shouldn't-
auto
we
trailer.
We shouldn't be promoting these other shows.
They're on-
Jobins has a CD coming out Friday.
That's
what
true.
we need to promote.
I
And
do
we
have a
got
CD.
shows at Wiley's all the time that we need to promote. Not this Century of Strange
Yeah.
garbage.
Let's turn off
Strange
Netflix
garbage.
and come out to. I've got a show actually Friday to celebrate my CD release in Hamilton at True West Coffee. I'm playing with Tyler Carson.
Oh, awesome.
St. Mary St. Michael. A band, an artist called Night Owl is going to be playing as well, and I'll be playing some folk tunes. It's free to come out. You come there and you can buy a CD for $5.
And get
Only
your folk
$5. Yeah, you can get your folk on, man. Yeah, there's a lot of great folk music there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hamilton, True West Coffee. I don't know what time it is. You can find it on Facebook, though. I don't remember what time it is. I don't even know what time I need to show up. I should probably ask.
Yeah, that's
I should
probably
probably ask
something
them that.
That's probably something you should look into.
It's true, but I'm a musician. I can just show up whenever, right?
No.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of comics think that too.
Yeah,
I do apologize for that, by the way. I just don't respect the times, and I show up when I want to. So
That's
right.
okay. That's okay.
It's okay. I drove
thought
him
you
here
were
because he
gonna
doesn't have his
leave an
license.
hour ago.
I told you I need a place to stay tonight. So
Well, there's a couch right there. You're going to be locked in. But, feel free to keep broadcasting.
okay, sure.
Yeah, why not? Send in the cavalry, or is that Calvary? Aha, it's a relevant question thanks to a video that shows a woman on the run from the law who ended up being chased by a herd of cows. The moving experience. Who writes this stuff? Happened Monday night in Sanford, Florida, of course, where authorities were pursuing a white Subaru SUV that was reportedly stolen. Officers attempted to stop the vehicle by using stop sticks, causing it to crash into a nearby pasture, according to the Tampa Bay Times. One of the three passengers, Aaron Thomas, 38 years old, stayed with the SUV, while the other two attempted to hoof it into the field. Jamie Michael Young, 46 years old. That's not young. 46 years old, was quickly apprehended by a canine unit, but the other, Jennifer Ann Kaufman, also 46, was about to have a different kind of animal encounter. As she was fleeing the officers, Kaufman found herself suddenly pursued by, depending on the source, 12, 16, or 20 cows. That's when you know you've made it as a criminal, if the cows take you out.
Well, that's
Nothing
a new
to say on
that's
that
a
one.
new thing they're offering. Like usually, you can definitely hire mariachi bands to follow you around. I looked into that, but it's way cheaper to do like a herd of cows just for a day. I think that's what she was going for, because mariachi bands are like $800, but you can get 15, 20 cows for good $250, and it's not bad at all. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I did. There's a lot of
It's a shame she had to steal an SUV to get to him.
yeah. Based on,
What we need is a cow entourage delivery service.
that would have been good.
Moober.
Oh,
That was bad.
wow.
That should go back to your Bison joke.
That's your closer, man. What are you talking about? I was at your last show. It was your closer.
World-class love story has now become a world record. Guinness World Records just declared a Japanese couple as its oldest living married couple. Masao Matsumatu, 108, and his 100-year-old blushing bride, got hitched Got married October 20th, 1937, nearly 81 years ago. Their combined age as of July, the day they were visited by Guinness World Records, is a whopping 208 years and 259 days. The couple has 5 daughters ranging from ages 77 to 66 and 13 grandchildren. Their 25th great-grandchild is expected sometime this month. Although the couple is currently the world's oldest, they have a little more time before they hold the title of oldest couple ever. That honor goes to Norwegians Carl and Gudrun Dolven, whose combined age of 210 years and 65 days when Gudrun passed away in 2004.
Even though
that's 81 years married.
Wow.
That's
there's a point where it's probably just like a convenience thing where I'm not even sure they love each other anymore. They're just like, well, we might as well. I mean, I'm not going to relocate at this point. I'm going to just stick it out, you know?
Well, that's the danger of having your spouse look after your medications for you. See, because you ever see those couples that, one died and 3 days later the other one goes? That's not love. She just didn't tell him where his meds were. That's really all that is. I mean, we try to pretty it up and say, well, that's true love. He couldn't live without her. It's like, no, he couldn't live without his heart medication. That's really all that is. Not to put a damper on these things, because everybody's got to believe in true love, but no, it's medication.
No, that story was. You're right. That story was too uplifting for me. We had to take it down.
We got to take it back down to our level.
Happy couples. Yeah. Gross.
God, that's terrible.
Comedians eternally single.
Hey, I'm married. I've been married twice. Tell me. An Ohio teacher broke the world record when he rowed across the Atlantic Ocean from Canada to England in under 40 days. Bryce Carlson, 37 years old, a Cincinnati high school teacher, said the official time for his some 2,000-mile rowing trip from Newfoundland to St. Mary's was 38 days, 6 hours, and 49 minutes, beating the previous speed record of 53 days for an Atlantic Ocean rowing trip. Why would somebody... I don't know. He said the trip was not without its hardships. Well, yeah, you're rowing across an ocean. Carlson told the Cincinnati Enquirer, I capsized about a dozen times, give or take. All occurred while I was inside the cabin, most while I was awake. I would say all while he was awake. Or at least awake very quickly. I was never truly injured, but I did bruise my tailbone pretty badly during one capsize that left me in quite a bit of pain for a couple days. Carlson, who said he lost 10 to 15 pounds during his journey, said he has no intentions of attempting to repeat the feat. Why would he?
He must be a nightmare to have as a teacher now, you know, just in a way, like, if a kid ever, they can't complain about anything. Like the essay, like, Mr. Carlson, 2 pages is a long essay. You know what's a long thing? Rowing across the Atlantic, all right?
For 38 days!
You write your essay.
It's like, I'm not feeling very good. Well, I wasn't feeling very good when I capsized 12 times in the Atlantic.
Yeah, while I was trying to sleep.
Or I wonder
I'm tired. I was tired for 40 days.
I wonder if he's like a geography teacher and he never lets it go. No, over here you see Africa, and up here you see the Atlantic. A little bit about the Atlantic, actually. Yeah. Oh, here he goes again.
Yeah, man.
Every time.
class. Yeah, that would be tough.
Yeah.
What do you mean you didn't have time to get it done? It's too hard. Police in New Jersey were called to handle an unusual situation when more than 75 goats and sheep escaped from a livestock auction. The Hackettstown Police Department, who, from the name of that, sounds like they should be experienced with handling livestock. The Hackettstown Police Department said officers were called about 9:33 p.m. Wednesday to the Hackettstown Livestock Auction, where dozens of animals were reported to have escaped. Police said it was determined that an unsecured gate was pushed open, allowing more than 75 goats and sheep to escape. That's tragic. That is tragic that I can't find the next page. Police and bystanders rounded up about 50 of the animals Wednesday, and a few more were captured Thursday morning. An estimated 10 to 20 goats and sheep were still said to be on the lam, missing early Friday. Like that wasn't going to come out eventually. And that's the sad thing is people think I plan that stuff, and I don't. That just pops in, and it's like, yeah, I shouldn't say this because it's stupid, but I'm going to say it anyway. Hackettstown. That's like got to be the only 75 sheep and goats in Jersey that aren't already spoken for.
What else can you say to that?
Exactly. And moving on, a 69-year-old Taiwan man has become a local celebrity. Chen Se-hyun, a.k.a. Uncle Pokemon, has a goat he has become well known in the New Taipei City to New Taipei City residents after being spotted around town playing Pokemon Go on 11 smartphones mounted to the front of his bicycle. Chen, who said he sometimes stays out until 4 a.m. hunting for Pokemon, said he became hooked on Pokemon Go after his grandson showed him how to play in 2016. The dedicated player said his habit costs him more than $1,300 each month, and he's considering expanding his rig to be able to play on 15 phones simultaneously. The dangers of Pokemon Go.
That man has a problem and needs to seek counseling.
Yes. I wonder if you're spending $1,300 a month on Pokemon Go, you need a cocaine habit, is what you need. That's right.
It would probably be cheaper.
How do you have so much time for Pokemon Go? Oh, my wife left me. It's like, oh, that makes sense.
Why'd she leave you? Because all I do is play Pokemon Go. It's a catch-22.
Wow.
I bet you, God, if he did have a wife or something where it's like, why didn't you answer my text today? I was busy. You have 11 smartphones and you couldn't answer my, no, just listen to me.
It's like, I was in the middle of catching a Rapidash.
Yeah, you can't dedicate one phone to answering texts from me.
Exactly.
I didn't want the Squirtle to get away. That's really the only Pokemon I know is the Squirtle, just because I had a joke about it.
Oh. I know a lot of them, Don, unfortunately. I know
actually, when Pokemon Go first became big, I actually had a big part of my set was dedicated to the phenomenon.
You and every other comedian.
And I've never played.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Everyone was happy.
It was a good time.
A peaceful time. Everyone was just enjoying themselves.
Brought us back to our childhood.
Because strangers in downtown Dayton, who are normally not very talkative, would meet in strange places, not knowing each other, and they're both looking for the same weird Pokemon character. So that's like a.
It was pretty cool.
It was a strange happening.
It was
really
strange,
was.
but it's cool.
I mean, a lot of people made fun of it, but it really was. It was one of those weird, unrepeatable things.
Right.
I don't really know because that's like, how do you bring people together? Pokemon Go, and it lasted like 2 days.
Well, there was this one guy online. He was playing because these are this whole YouTubers who do game streaming videos, and he was streaming Pokemon Go, and on the screen you could only see his screen where he's on Pokemon Go, and he witnesses a murder in the video. He was like, what? He was like, yeah, I'm parked here. I think there's a Pokemon. He's like, why is that person going? And he's like, oh my God. And then you hear him backing up. And then he's calling 911. The video's still recording. And the best part is the 911 operator is like, all right, what's your phone number? And he goes, I can't give you that. I'm streaming right now and I can't let the viewers have my phone number. And I was like, this is a dire situation where someone's probably dead, and you're like, I can't give up my phone number. I'm streaming right now, you know?
It's true, but he would have to change his number because he would get so many calls.
Yeah, and that's just a pain.
Yeah, I mean.
So many calls. Yeah. And then he would have to change accounts with Pokemon Go.
If I change my number again, my wife's going to kill me.
Yeah. I got Verizon. It's just a hassle.
Everything's a hassle with Verizon. This is not a Verizon sponsored show.
I was going to say, this show brought to you by AT&T.
Brought to you by Sprint. I actually have a Sprint and a Verizon phone sitting over here. So
oh, wow.
They're both terrible.
Doubling up.
They're both terrible. Well, one's a work phone. I don't speak to it after hours.
Both are for Pokemon Go, actually. Yeah, that's what he's not saying.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't quite have the $1,300 a month to spend on an 11 phone rig on my bicycle, but you know.
I know what my next what I want to make for a video now is I want to just make a video of Don coming up with names for each Pokemon. He has
That
to
would
name
be
them.
fantastic.
That we're gonna
We
have
should
to
do that should be a segment on this show. Is name that Pokemon.
Yeah.
You could give me like its traits
Yeah.
and what it looks like. Show me a picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time I'm on, Don, we're doing this.
Yeah,
we're doing this. That would be great.
I'm gonna
For real. I'll come back.
Gonna write
we'll do
it
this.
down. You can call in.
Yeah.
You can
I'll
call in
yeah.
every week and describe a new Pokemon character to me. And
Absolutely.
And I will, yeah.
Thank God that game's still relevant. Oh my, we are in luck.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, it is what in its seventh generation.
Yeah, well, it's
There's
still
like
it's
over
still relevant
1,000
to
of them
this
now or
dude
something.
in Taiwan. It's very relevant to him. He's thinking about 4 more phones.
It's like that one guy who, like, I don't know if you ever heard the story. It was like a guy, and like years after the Vietnam War, he was still in the forest, and like he didn't know the war had ended. That's that one guy with Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you know no one plays this anymore, right? And he's like, what? The war's over.
Oh, I have a lot of friends that still play it. It's it's still got a cult following.
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
There are groups on Facebook where they like go on raid battles and stuff together, and like they all meet
So
up at
there
a
are
certain
raid
time.
battles. So it's
Yeah. Like they all meet at the same time to fight a legendary together. It's crazy, man.
See,
It's got a cult
I
following.
don't know anything about it. I don't. I was too.
He
I
heard
was
raid
too
battles, and he's
old.
like, "I'm in."
I was too old when the original Pokemon came out, and I
was too.
wasn't anything.
When the original Pokemon came.
I was a fetus, so
Yeah,
You weren't even conceived.
Yeah, I
I don't even know how that works, to be honest.
When did it come out?
90, I think 95, 96 was the very first one.
Was it actually? Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
They had their
that was-
20th anniversary a few years back, so
That's crazy.
yeah, it's kind of it's
That's
big.
crazy. Yeah,
It's a lot.
And I've never paid it one bit of attention
Yeah, I loved it growing up.
because
It
I was
great,
18 or
yeah.
19 when it came out, and I really Pokemon. What the hell's that? yeah, wasn't a thing that I would have been into probably if I was 12 or 8 or
Well, I grew up in the era of handheld games, so
yeah.
and it was the handheld game to have.
I was going to say when I grew up I had a handheld game too, but we can't talk about it on the air.
Oh, wow!
Already.
Wow!
A historical theme park in France is training 6 crows to pick up cigarette ends and rubbish in a bid to keep it clean. Nicolas de Villiers, president of Puy de Foix, I guess, park, said the initiative would show visitors that nature itself could teach them to care for the environment by training crows to pick up after them. That's, yeah. He said the goal is not just to clear up, but because the visitors are generally careful to keep things clean, the 6, quote, particularly intelligent crows are to be put to work from Friday. Each time a crow drops a piece of rubbish or cigarette end in the box, will be rewarded with a small nugget of food.
Aw, happy ending. What they don't
Yeah.
tell you is 5 of those crows have died from secondhand smoke, and 1 has developed a violent cigarette addiction and kind of a sassy
yes.
attitude as well.
Exactly, yeah.
That crow takes no crap.
Yeah.
You can
Well-
eat crow.
Well, it's France, so I think all the crows already smoke there.
Oh yeah, that's why it would only work there, you know.
Yeah, here's your piece of baguette.
Yeah. And it's those very long cigarettes too. It's like
So really, they didn't need to train the crow to pick up cigarette butts. They just needed to like cut off its cigarette money, so it had to smoke the butts.
Got 'em hooked.
Yeah, it had to get just the ends that people left over.
yeah.
You know, 'cause homeless crows is what they are. They're the homeless crows that are digging through the trash cans trying to get that still long enough to smoke cigarette butt.
Because they used to be on the patch. The scarecrow still lives, but the crows used to be.
Right,
so.
right. Well, that's why they started smoking at Scarecrow. They figured he's made a straw. They can scare him with a lighter and a cigarette.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, Scarecrow's not going to go after the crow that's smoking with a Zippo. It's not. We are like running out of news stories. We're going to get through. They're very rare. Do we get through all of them?
Man.
Because usually my guests are much funnier, and we
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about
that's-
Yeah. You really got to start booking comedians. I'm going to be honest with you.
I can't, yeah, that's terrible. Mexican police have found cocaine worth thousands of dollars hidden inside more than a dozen bread rolls during an airport drugs raid. Sniffer dogs helped anti-narcotics, I can't say it, Well, I need some Coke. Officers make the discovery at the international airport in Guadalajara. Each of the 15 rolls was filled with a bag containing 120 grams of cocaine. The market value of the illegal drugs around $150 a gram, in case anybody's shopping, meaning that there would have been approximately $270,000 in 12 rolls.
They could tell when the dogs found the cocaine because they just kept scratching themselves, and they're like, "Oh no!" It's the dogs developed a cocaine addiction in that joke, and it's kind of sad. And I don't know. I didn't.
Well, how do you think drug dogs work?
I think
much like crows picking up.
Yeah, they get hooked on cocaine.
They get addicted to it. Yeah.
Well,
that's not far from the truth.
Oh no, I'm sad.
Yeah. See, now you tried to make a joke. And you made the whole story. It was at first it was a nice family friendly story about somebody baking their cocaine into rolls.
Yes,
which I've heard of pot brownies, never heard of cocaine rolls.
Sounds like a waste of cocaine.
And you thought Red Lobster's Cheddar Bay biscuits were good. You got to try these rolls.
Yeah, these things will knock your socks off.
I guess it gives a whole new meaning to, man, these rolls are like crack.
Yeah. These things are so addictive.
Are you guys ready to order? Can we just get some more rolls by any chance? I'll be like, get more rolls?
Yeah, they told me not to fill up on bread. Can't help it. That's how they get you. They always make you fill up on the bread.
So this is an Olive Garden. Oh. What seasoning do you put on this?
Yeah.
Sure, it's not Bob Evans?
They were rolls. They weren't breadsticks.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes things.
Yeah,
so maybe it was Bob Evans.
Okay.
Party to one?
Yeah, they hide the joints in the breadsticks because they're elongated.
That makes sense. Yeah. I don't know what drugs are, so.
You don't know what drugs?
No. I'm very shielded.
This is the last one here.
The last one.
Final news story, and we're going to skip it because Jobin was going to play another song.
Oh. Yeah, I can.
Instead of me messing up another joke.
Almost got through all of them.
Almost got.
Almost.
Well, you want to play? You just want to play random noise you want to play some white noise while we're No, you can play a song, and we will save that news story.
I'm going to do an upbeat song. This is from the new EP, Songs from the Front Porch, which is available on all streaming services this Friday. Jobin, Songs from the Front Porch. This song is called Seasons of Choice. It's a little more upbeat. Walk on your own, face the sunrise and greet your home. Wilt the flowers do as they bow to you. When it all comes down, know it by the sound of your tired cries and your last goodbye. Summer is almost gone. The rampant heat, it carries on. Smell of rain comes quickly, lingers with me, lingers with me. When it all comes down, you know it by the sound of your tired cries and your last goodbye. seasons of choice. We chose to lie and cheat, steal happiness from underneath. When it all comes down, we know it by the sound of your tired cries and your last goodbye.
All right, that's
really
another good one from Jobin.
Thank you.
Now you're going to be in Hamilton at the True West Coffee.
Yes, Hamilton True West Coffee with St. Mary, St. Michael, and Night Owl. It's the album release day. Hopefully some people show up, get some good cups of Joe.
Absolutely.
Here's some Joe Ben.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
Kyle will not be there
Yeah,
telling
will not
good
be
jokes.
telling jokes.
Not to be outdone, that night I will be in my parents' basement. Admission is $5. The bouncer's just my
Your
dad.
parents charge you $5 to go in their basement?
No, they don't know I
That's
live there
weird.
anymore.
Oh.
This isn't being recorded, is it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It totally is being recorded.
Oh, no.
It's okay, they're not listening anyway.
They're not
Yeah,
listening.
That's true. Yeah, Joe's parents are listening.
Yeah,
His
my mom is
mom's
listening.
yeah.
She said she was proud of me. That's the first time.
Joe's mom, can you give me a place to stay this evening?
The Life radio show changes lives.
Bringing families
Yes.
together.
But, yep, since whenever I started. 2015.
How long has it been, Don?
Oh,
This has been your purgatory.
Too long. Every show I do, I think I'm never doing another one.
Never again.
And every show before I started, I think I don't want to do this.
Right. And especially after guests like us, you're thinking, man.
No, you guys were fantastic. I mean, a little clumsy, but you're right.
Watergate again. I'll be lucky to be invited back.
Now, do you have any shows coming up, Kyle? Or?
No. I'll be doing some open mics around Dayton. Nothing really set in stone at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I usually do a lot of open mics. I'll be the Monday open mics at Ollie's Place. I'm usually you can find me at that one, or I will be at the Hookah Bazaar on Thursdays.
Well, if you guys have social media, Twitter,
Yep.
Instagram, anything like that, feel free to throw
ahead
that
with
out.
yours, man.
This is where we advertise ourselves.
My social media is at Kemper Kyle on both Twitter and Instagram.
You can follow me on Instagram at JW Cox Official. It's JW Cox Official, where I post random shots of Kyle and I in the studio today.
Yes.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that all you post?
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
when we're
that's all
not
I
on the
post on
show,
there.
like we'll
Yeah,
sneak in
yeah,
here.
It's just,
and then-
we just come in and there's just pictures of Don and when he's sleeping and
Yeah.
when he's
How do you
awake.
know I sleep in the studio?
I just
mean,
know you
usually
too
during
well.
my show, but
I saw that shower in the corner, and I got it's either a weird segment or Don's house. I don't one of the two.
Either
No, it's just one of my water bottles.
all right, just make sure the cap's on. Well, thanks for coming in, Joseph Cox, Joe Cox,
Yep.
Joe Ben, whatever you want to call him, he'll answer. And Kyle Kemper, I know you've been up late.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You look
though,
a little
but-
cranky.
Oh, always. I woke up very cranky.
We're
That's
gonna get him a
just me.
juice box on the way
Get
out.
him a
Right.
juice box.
Yeah.
Don't not a lot of sugar though. You don't want
No,
to keep
no,
him
the
up
low
all
sugar
night
ones.
because his parents will be upset.
We'll do the
You
small
don't want-
Capri
You don't
Sun.
want to be
Yeah.
that uncle.
I did
Yeah.
eat all my. Not to be outdone, I did eat all my broccoli earlier, so I do think I deserve a
Okay.
chocolate chip cookie. So.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
you get one. You
Yeah,
get
okay.
Kyle.
One.
All right. All right. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. I may not be in next week. It depends on which I find a bigger pain, booking guests or creating a best of show as a filler. So, but I might be here. So, listen in just in case. And we'll see you whenever I decide to come back. Have a good week.
Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check us out on Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network or wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we're on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM with a repeat broadcast on Wednesdays from noon to 2, or you can always stream the show live at wwsu1069.org. If you have suggestions or comments, feel free to email the life1069@gmail.com.
I was in the middle of catching a Rapidash.